Sandy Frank here. This week's episode of Hobby Talk, I wanted to talk about Star Wars. Now, there was they just had the big Star Wars celebration last weekend, and they streamed it, which was really awesome. I got to watch a couple of the days of it. I pretty much watched the entire day, and it was very interesting. And I've been hearing some things about Star Wars, and as I'm watching season 3 of The Mandalorian and trying to figure things out, a lot of things are starting to make sense on what is going on over at Star Wars. So this is probably not a lot about the actual cards and card collecting of Star Wars, more of just being a fan of Star Wars. So you have to bear with me. Okay, so we'll start off by talking about Mandalorian Season 2. Okay, so I'm going to do full spoiler reviews of the different Disney Plus shows. Those are going to be coming up, who knows when. I was supposed to do a Clone Wars animated series review. It's been probably a year. I get so sidetracked with other stuff. But it is on the docket to eventually do all the Star Wars movies and series reviews and their spoiler reviews. So I will note this is going to be talking about spoilers. If you haven't watched The Mandalorian or The Mandalorian Season 1, 2, or 3 or Book of Boba Fett, things like that, I'll probably be talking about spoilerish type things. So be warned. But anyway, I'm going to go on. So, at the end of Season 2, Mandalorian, first of all, Season 1, loved it. It was really, really fun, really interesting feel for that show. I was totally in. Season 2, I thought was even better. Fantastic. The way it ended was just phenomenal. We got to see little Grogu get picked up by Luke Skywalker to begin his Jedi training. The Mandalorian revealed his face to his adopted son, so he could actually see his face. It was a touching episode. I really enjoyed it. Then the Book of Boba Fett happened, and it was very interesting. There were some things I really liked about the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, really liked, and there were some other things that were like, oh man, like. I'll go further into it on a spoiler review. But if they had stopped the season at the next to last episode, it would have been a perfect ending to that season. And then for whatever reason, the last episode was just a complete bizarre mess. I don't understand what happened there. And that is one of these things that I think I'm more clear on what actually happened. Now, at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, as we talked about, little Grogu goes off to do his Jedi training with Luke. For just no necessary reason, it seemed, in the Book of Boba Fett, there was 2 episodes involving the Mandalorian. They were basically Mandalorian episodes where we picked back up with the Mandalorian story. We got to see little Grogu in his training, and little Grogu actually deciding, no, I guess I don't want to be a Jedi. I want to go back and hang out with the Mandalorian on his adventures. So he ends up back with the Mando in that really weird last episode of Book of Boba Fett. Okay, now you go into Season 3 of Mandalorian, and this season has been way worse than the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian. Like, definitely worse. It just seems strange. Not a lot of sense of direction in this season. And I think the problem is is that Disney management insisted that little Grogu be put back into season 3. I think they were very upset that they were basically giving little Grogu his ending there in season 2. Now, I think they could have definitely checked in on little Grogu on his training and everything in season 3, but the focus of Mandalorian season 3, which is the Mandalorians retaking Mandalore, there's really no room for Grogu. And it seems very strange that the Mandalorian, this who cares so much about this little orphan little Grogu and cares for him like a child, is putting him in all these dangerous situations. I mean, they're going to war to retake Mandalore, for crying out loud, and he's got Grogu right there with everybody. Puts him at the shore of this lake where he could get snatched up by a giant alligator monster or a pterodactyl monster in seconds. Just like no regard for him. But the problem is Grogu was not supposed to be in this season. I'm sure of it. He was supposed to be off getting his training. But Disney management said, we will have Grogu in season 3 all the time. And there are reports that the showrunners, Jon Favreau, actually threatened to leave The Mandalorian over this situation. And you can see why, because it doesn't make sense that Grogu is part of this story. And it's hurting Grogu. Like, I was all in on little Grogu, Baby Yoda, in the first 2 seasons. This season, it just seems like he's just there. Like, there's no reason for him to be there. He's kind of in the way. Kind of a really weird quest for the Mandalorian to bring Grogu on. I mean, there have been some little nice moments here and there. But overall, he's just kind of there, and they're having to constantly figure out how to keep him in the storyline. And like I said, I think it hurts Grogu's legacy. And it also is really strange that he wanted to be a Jedi. He wanted to be a Jedi, and then all of a sudden, as soon as he gets into his training, and apparently he was training for like a year or 2, and then decides, nah, I want to go hang out with the Mandalorian. Very un-Jedi-like move. And it just doesn't make sense. And the reason it doesn't make sense is because Jon Favreau and showrunners of The Mandalorian were forced to write him into season 3, which was, you can definitely, especially when you start seeing and thinking about that, you see how shoehorned in Grogu is to these episodes. And I hate that, because I love Grogu, and I hate feeling like, why are you here, you know? And why would the Mandalorian take you on this very dangerous mission? Anyway, what are you guys' thoughts? Do you think that's a true story that Jon Favreau threatened to walk off The Mandalorian because management at Disney was trying to tell him, you know, you have to do this, you have to do that, when this is his story, and when your story has to get compromised, it starts to suck. And it has not been that great of a season. It's been very clunky, very strange. This IG-11, that seemed like when the season started, IG-11 getting him fixed seemed like that was the mission of the season, which is kind of lame for a whole mission of the season. But they quickly abandoned it. It's like, why even have that episode? Well, comes back to find out, oh, that's little Grogu's new bodysuit, basically, is IG-11. Man, I'm getting into some major spoilers here. But, again, he has to be there all the time. And it's definitely hurt The Mandalorian Season 3. And viewership is way down. I hate to see that. The ratings are bad. The reviews, people are definitely catching on that this season just doesn't seem to have a real planned out direction is because a big old wrench, a little green wrench, I should say, was thrown into the plans, I think. And like I said, I think there was definitely plans to go see maybe an episode or two to go watch Grogu do his training with Luke. Hey, guess what? We missed those now. They were those scenes of him training got forced into the Book of Boba Fett, and plus it doesn't make any sense that they give this great big goodbye at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, and at the beginning of season 3 of Mandalorian, he's right there again. Like, whoa. You had to watch the Book of Boba Fett to connect those two, which that also very nonsensical. So I'm pretty upset with Disney about how they did this. And, they completely ruined the sequel trilogy. The Force Awakens, fantastic. I loved The Force Awakens. One of my favorite all-time Star Wars movies. Last Jedi, it was okay, but definitely took some weird twists there that didn't make sense. But again, it's because different guy doing the show. They should have had J.J. Abrams do episode 7, 8, and 9. This J.J. Abrams doing episode 7, and then Rian Johnson doing episode 8, taking the story in a completely different way, and then having to get J.J. back for episode 9, having to course correct and get back to it. It just ruined that sequel trilogy and made what should have been an unbelievable, awesome trilogy really strange and pretty nonsensical by the end of it. Because, it was just a mess. JJ really needed 2 movies. He needed an episode 9 part 1 and episode 9 part 2 to tell the story like he needed to, because he basically, it's just annoying because his second episode if he was going to do the trilogy, the middle one should have been done by JJ, and he had to basically cram his second part of the trilogy and the last one into one movie, and you can tell it is a mess. So shame on Disney for just making crappy decisions that mess up the shows, and I hope they stick their nose out of it. Andor, fantastic. Man, did I love Andor. It was so good. I can't wait to review that one. Just an amazing show. During the celebration, they did show the preview, the trailer for Ahsoka. And, oh man, I am really excited for that one. That looks amazing. Please stay out of it, Disney. Let the showrunners do the show and stay the heck out of it. And the show will be better because of it. Trust me. Because every time you guys at Disney, the higher ups, stick your nose in and try to tell the creators of the show what to do, you screw it up and it ends up being terrible and it gets blasted to pieces by the fans. Anyway, I love Star Wars, but I had to sound off because of this season of Mandalorian. It's driving me insane. Especially how shoehorned in that they forced Grogu into the season when he should have been off doing his Jedi training. Anyway, what do you guys think? That's the important thing. Do you care about Star Wars at all anymore? Do you watch the Disney Plus shows? What do you think of them? Did you like Andor? Did you like Book of Boba Fett? Did you like Obi-Wan? I did like Obi-Wan. It was a little different than what I would have done personally, but I liked it. I thought that there was probably better stories to tell, but it was still really good. And what did you think of Mandalorian Season 3 so far? The finale coming up I think tomorrow. I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to be hoping it's good. And I know Baby Yoda is going to be in there in his little IG-11 suit. Awesome. All right. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, and may the force be with you.